Okay, so let's dig into the filings by the Mueller team on Michael Flynn with tonight's Power Panel. Constitutional attorney Elizabeth Price Foley, Fox News contributor Richard Fowler, and Eric Metaxas, New York Times bestselling author of the children's book Donald Drains the Swamp. Welcome to all of you. All right, I want to start, Elizabeth, with you and a bit of what we have been able to tell from the non-redacted parts of these filings tonight. We find out that Michael Flynn had 19 interviews with the Mueller team and or DOJ attorneys, that he assisted with, quote, several ongoing investigations, that he assisted with investigations into coordination, allegedly between Trump, some in the Trump campaign and Russia, and also that they recommend sentencing without incarceration, saying it's appropriate and warranted. Elizabeth, what do you make of what we've learned tonight?
Well, it seems to me from reading this recommendation and the addendum that basically Mueller is at this point conceding that he's milked Michael Flynn for all he's worth, in the sense that he's gotten all the information from Flynn. Flynn has been forthright in showing up for interviews, providing the documents required, appearing before any grand jury if that happened, and that whatever Michael Flynn has given them is over at this point. That they're not expecting Michael Flynn to be a witness in any future proceeding or anything like that. And so what we can't tell from these redactions in the addendum is whether or not Michael Flynn's sort of cooperation on the criminal investigation is a criminal investigation that has anything to do with Trump-Russia collusion. There's a lot of speculation out there about it. It's kind of like Sasquatch rumors. You know, anytime the word collusion appears, people sort of get breathless speculation about it. But I don't think we can see one way or another whether there's any evidence of that here.
Yeah, and this is what we're talking about with the Sasquatch rumors. That's basically all those black lines that you're looking at. Those are the redactions, so we don't know what special counsel has on those. Okay, Charlie Kirk, conservative commentator and activist out there, he had this to say in a tweet. He says, if Mueller truly had something, he wouldn't release these findings about Flynn and recommended no jail time. He is desperate and wants to make an example out of Flynn. He wants to show the remaining people being investigated that if they comply, they won't go to jail, Richard.
I don't know if that's necessarily true or not true, and none of us know if that's true until you could see what's behind the redactions, right? But here's the part that was the most telling for me that I think all Americans can agree with. In page 5 of the first document, the line reads, however, senior government leaders should be held to the highest standard. The defendants providing false information to the government, as well as the rules governing work performance on behalf of the foreign government, basically saying as somebody who worked for government, and we expect all of our government officials, whether they're Democrats or whether they're Republicans, whether their email servers are in bathrooms and closets or whether they lied to the FBI, we demand and we should expect that our government officials serve at the highest level and they are above board and they shouldn't lie to FBI agents.
Okay, but if you're talking about email servers being held in bathrooms, I'm assuming that you're referring to Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I'm saying that she was just as wrong, right?
Well, okay,
the point I'm making is that we should demand that all our government officials, including Michael Flynn, should be held to the highest standard in line with the FBI.
I think we should agree that a single standard should apply to everyone, but Eric, she didn't get prosecuted.
Well, here's the problem. A single standard does not apply to everyone. First of all, what we have in this investigation, you kind of think, what's got less beef than a nothing burger, like a nothing slider? Nothing. There is nothing. You say, show me the collusion. Where's the collusion? It goes on, and we're like Kremlinologists trying to read the tea leaves. You remember, you know, in the days of the Soviet Union, they would see the Politburo up there, and people would try to figure out from nothing what's going on behind the scenes. So we're literally looking at redacted pages that have nothing. We've gotten so far into the weeds that we've lost the bigger picture. The bigger picture is some people are so bitterly opposed to this president's election that they will do anything, include pretend that there is a single standard of justice. When you have a former Secretary of State who has done things that when the spotlight is shown on the Clinton Foundation and on all of the behind the scenes, including the way this FISA warrant was put together and all of this stuff, that is infinitely bigger than anything Flynn ever dreamt of doing.
As far as we know, though, because there's a lot that we don't know in the redactions, but as far as what we publicly know.
But the only reason we're talking about this is because
this is where I'm going to have to stop you. This is what we do know.
Oh, this is where you're going to have to stop me.
This is what we do know. We know that Donald Trump's campaign manager will probably never see the light of day, and he's in jail for committing crimes. We also know
not connected to Russian collusion. It is who
the president surrounds himself with. Right? Not to mention the fact you have his national security advisor, who The acting attorney general went to, first of all, the Obama administration went to him and said, don't hire this guy. He is not a good Boy Scout. Then the acting attorney general said, we have information that says that this individual will not only compromise your White House, but he did compromise their White House because he lied to the vice president of the United States.
And he was forced to resign.
And he was forced to, it took 18 days.
Right.
It took 18 days for him to resign.
Number
one. And number two,
should have resigned?
and number two,
Okay, wait a minute.
he lied to the FBI.
Gentlemen, I'm going to bring Elizabeth.
So it's okay to lie to the FBI.
Gentlemen.
I think she should have resigned.
Gentlemen. Time out. Okay, Elizabeth, I want to bring you back in here because as one of our legal eagles tonight, I want to ask you about this because everybody's claiming credit or victory based on what we don't know behind those redactions. Adam Schiff, obviously top Democrat, who is going to be moving into more prominence as the House is taken over by Democrats in January, says this: the recommendation of no jail time for Flynn, apart from its obvious irony for the man who led chants of, quote, lock her up, reflects both the timeliness and significance of his help, that most of the details are redacted signals he has given far more than we or the president may know. Is that how you read this, Elizabeth?
I don't think that's a fair interpretation. Look, Michael Flynn, based on his criminal history, at most under the sentencing guidelines would have gotten 6 months in jail. And given the fact that both Andrew McCabe and Jim Comey have testified before Congress that the FBI agents who investigated, who initially interviewed Flynn, didn't think that there was any deception involved, and the fact, keep in mind, that Michael Flynn's inquiry, the interview, was predicated on an alleged Logan Act violation, which itself is probably an unconstitutional law, has never resulted in the conviction of anyone, suggests that his interview was pretextual to begin with. And I think any prosecutor in good faith who looked at Michael Flynn's history of service to this country, based on an interview that the interviewing agents didn't think indicated deception, would not recommend any jail time. So I think, frankly, Mueller is showing some good character here and not recommending jail time for Michael Flynn. And I think it says absolutely nothing about the substance of what Michael Flynn provided to them. I think what it does show is that he cooperated in good faith and he gave them what he had. And what he had, we just don't know.
Yeah, we don't. All right. 10 seconds to each of you gentlemen. Richard, 10.
I think she makes a very valuable point, is that what he did wasn't actually, nothing was wrong with talking to the ambassador.
Right.
The fact that he covered it up is what made it problematic, which is why he should have never covered up to begin with.
Eric, it's always the cover-up.
I would like to say, since everybody's been so civil, I'd like to throw in one incendiary thing.
It's so unlike you.
I think that Hillary Clinton has done things so much infinitely worse than anything we're discussing today that the odds of her genuinely being locked up are 50-50.
Is it not enough that she lost the presidential election?
We're going to leave it there. Richard and Eric and Elizabeth, thank you all. Great to have you with us on our Power Panel.